Alex Anzalone and what he brought back to this team.
Oh, yeah.
He is your captain. He is the guy that goes out there and takes care of business when you need it the most. We saw him making extreme plays in this game that really tilted the tide. Shout out to God again in the Woodward Sports Chat. Penne for MVP, and Burn in the Woodward Sports Chat. He says, in the entire history of Detroit Lions, going back to 1934, no team has beaten Detroit in a postseason game in the city of Detroit. They're 6-0. Wow.
Damn.
That's a good little history lesson to drop on you right there.
Oh, yeah.
But a big reason of why no team beat the Detroit Lions last night in Detroit was because of Alex Anzalone and his return. And here's what Dan Campbell had to say about his captain coming back.
It was huge. Look, I've said it before. He's really our quarterback on defense. He's our quarterback on defense. And, he just brings there's a lot of confidence. He brings a lot of energy. He can calm the storms. He just, to have him back, and I thought it was going to take him a minute to work himself back in, and it didn't take long at all. And he was back to what he was before he got injured, I thought. So, hell, we gave him a game ball. So, it was outstanding.
You heard what Dan Campbell said. He picked up like he didn't miss a beat. Like the guy was back out there playing at an extremely high level, which he has been the past couple of years for the Detroit Lions. And we talked about him coming back and what this means to the team. We talked about him using his high football IQ to kind of get rid of some of those bump and run coverages, some of those drag routes that we saw the 49ers doing a lot of, to get mix-ups and to get open coverages. And in the middle of the field, Anzalone takes that away because he's so smart and he knows what he's doing. And then on top of that, I saw multiple times, obviously they weren't calling it for some reason, but when Sam Darnold was down to, 0 seconds on the game clock, he's jumping up and down, screaming to the refs.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the game, he wasn't even worried about it. He wasn't even trying to get them to throw the flag. He was just screaming up there as soon as the clock hit 0, man. Alex Anzalone being back was so important for this team and for this game. They needed him back, and especially for the stretch run when you're looking to the Super Bowl. And him being back, coming back, playing the way he did. And he said he's not 100%. If that's not him at 100%, I don't want to see him at 100% because it'll be looking like Brian Urlacher mixed with Teddy Bruschi mixed with Ray Lewis out there. Like he played a flawless game.
Yeah, I didn't know how badly the Detroit Lions needed Alex Anzalone back until I saw it, to be honest. That's how big it was. And it was so good to see because he really is, Dan Campbell said it, the quarterback on defense. And I cannot praise this guy's IQ enough because it makes everybody on the defense really better, and you're gonna need that. And maybe it wasn't as needed like against the Sam Darnold, but you're gonna need it against the Jalen Hurts if you want to get to the Super Bowl, if you want to help. And like we talked about, helping Jack Campbell, like we're gonna have to now deal with a Baker Mayfield who can also rush the ball. Stafford, I'm not really too scared of getting too out of the pocket, too mobile. But when it comes to those bigger games in these playoffs that we're gonna see now, Alex Anzalone helping out everybody else, and specifically with some running quarterbacks, I think that'll be a big key going forward.
Xavier D in the Woodward Sports Chat, he says, Anzo, the real dad came home. Alex Anzalone, father of two. Like, you talk about this guy and what they did to Sam Darnold, this defense.
Yep.
Getting pressure on him, getting tackles on him, hitting him, getting him on his ass. Anzalone was in that backfield a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Anzalone was being sent up the middle and sent on blitzes, and he was getting to Sam Darnold quite a few times on top of locking down TJ Hockenson in coverage a couple times. He did get the one penalty on him, but I don't care. I don't care. Do what you got to do. It didn't come back to bite the Lions, and he was playing just fantastic football out there.
And one point I want to make is that I feel like he's been playing great, but Jack Campbell looked even better with Anzalone there.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times did you see him either making the tackle or right next to the guy that made the tackle? He was able to be free to do what he does best. I thought that was a big, big key because to me, they were giving up those passes short, those 4-6 yard passes, but they were stopping them right there with the tackle. They weren't allowing them to get many breaks. The only breaks they really got was in the backfield on the defensive line. But the linebackers stood their ground and allowed this team to keep being third and long, third and short, just manageable defensive positions, and that's what you want from this team. So Anzo was absolutely excellent. I don't want to take anything away from him, but I think what can't be lost is how much he accentuate Jack Campbell's performance.
He makes everyone's job easier. Nick said it earlier. You're getting guys in position. He is the captain. He was the green dot. He was the leader on this defense for a reason. You get that guy back. He's making sure players around him, like Jack Campbell, like Levi Onwuzurike, like other guys like that, are in the right position to make plays. And when you have Jack Campbell out there, and no offense to him, but Alex Anzalone instead of Ezekiel Turner, yes, you're going to see a big jump in his production. You're going to see him playing more free. You're going to see him playing more confidently, playing more aggressively, because he knows the guy on the other side of him is his old head, is his captain, is his guy that he can depend on. If he over pursues, if he does something stupid, he knows he's got his partner next to him that's going to pick up for him.
Yeah, and we've seen this defense without him now. And speaking about the defense without him, the 6 games he missed, we averaged 26.5 points per game given up. That would have ranked 30th in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much and how much of a difference maker Alex Anzalone is to this team. I cannot say it enough. The high IQ really is off the charts. And his $6 million a year is looking like an absolute steal. Because if Alex Anzalone doesn't get hurt, he's going with the rest of the Lions to the Pro Bowl, which they will not be attending for everybody that's curious about that. But yeah, Alex Anzalone would have been a no-doubt Pro Bowler in the linebacker spot for the NFC.
Yeah, I agree. And James in the Woodward Sports Chat with the Super Chat, he says, Anzo for the DC job after he retires. Hey, I don't hate it. We'll see. Maybe not DC right away, but if Calvin Shepard decides to move up or move on, maybe he can get that linebacking coach role. But this Alex Anzalone really cemented himself to the city of Detroit and to Detroit Lions fans more than he already had. Because, like, if you follow the Lions, like we all follow the Lions, like all you guys do, you know how much he meant to this team. You know the level of play you've been getting out of Alex Anzalone the past 2 years has been top 10 in the NFL. And so you know how important he is. But for the casual fans and for the guys and people and that are just getting into it, seeing those stitches on his arm, seeing him come back after breaking his arm as fast as he can, and then having that impact and not being skittish, not being like, not doubting himself, trusting his guns, playing how he plays in the only way this Aaron Glenn defense knows how to play, and that is aggressive, violent, and fast. It just shows like that these guys, this Dan Campbell guy, the culture guy is a true thing, and that's what a culture guy is for the Detroit Lions. It's not the choir boy. It's not the nice guy. It is a guy that is a psychopath and loves football more than anything else, and the majority of the players on this team fit that description. Anzalone just showed you firsthand why he's the captain on this defense, why this team brought him from New Orleans. Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn brought him from New Orleans because they knew this is the kind of guy you build a foundation with. This is the kind of guy you want to lead your defense and lead your young guys, and he showed you going out there, showing the grit, and just playing his ass off with a broken fucking arm.
Unbelievable. Talk about the epitome of grit. Like, that's what Alex Anzalone is. And it wasn't, all pro future to be, or soon to be, Kirby Joseph that got announced last. It wasn't all pro soon to be Brian Branch that got announced last. It was the heart and soul of this team, and specifically this defense. It was Alex Anzalone. I don't think I've ever heard Ford Field louder in my life.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Honestly, it was like, I wish I got a video of it for Chris, honestly, so I could show the chat. I'm sure I can find it somewhere. But
shouts out,
unbelievable.
Dubski's in the chat. Kool-Aid, I know you already had your show today, so I know you got a lot of your takes out already. But Alex Anzalone, what did he mean to the Detroit Lions in this game?
Man, I'm still trying to figure out and quantify just how good is he.
Yeah.
The impact that you saw, the defense looked night and day. And one of the things that we did, point out this morning was just the broadcast. They were saying how much better these linebackers were able to be utilized kind of in some of these new schemes that they noticed and these new wrinkles from Aaron Glenn. And you got to have high IQ linebackers. You can have a lot of try-hard guys. You can have some highly skilled guys. But there is like a special set of players in there who they also combine all of that with their high IQ, and that's Alex Anzalone. And Jack Campbell is almost like his little pit bull in training.
Yeah.
Like, just straight up. And like you guys said, not just being able to unlock some of the other players around him, but being able to go out there and really just play free. One of the things I love about Alex Anzalone is how instinctual he plays. He just seems to have a feel for the game. When to rush in, when to try and get like a pressure or a quarterback hit. When to, I think they're going to pass the ball and drop back into coverage. There was a couple plays where I was just like, my goodness, that end-to-end speed. We missed that. Even though we had guys that stepped up. Even though we didn't, lose too many games without him. It was amazing to see him in that game and see that type of impact. And honestly, there was a time where I supremely underestimated him. Not this year, though.
Yeah.
But in the past, I was like, yo, what are they doing? They're really showing a lot of trust and faith in this guy. And Dan Campbell continued to step to the table and give that kind of vote of confidence.
Yeah.
And to see it pay dividends today, it just echoes the sentiment of what Jared Goff was saying 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when we were in the mud, he told us everything. All of it's come true, and that's why we believe him today.
It's true. I mean, his first year with the Lions was rough. Like, nobody can disagree with that. Anzalone's first year with the Lions was rough. But since then, he has been a top 10 linebacker in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just... It's amazing to see what he says. And Kool-Aid made a great point about how instinctual and his IQ, the way he plays the game, and that comes with the familiarity of this defense. That comes with being tied with Aaron Glenn for so long, knowing exactly where he wants him, what he wants him to do, and the exact reads that he knows. Oh, okay, when the guard does this, I'm going there right off his ass. When the linebacker or when the running back comes to fill, I'm dropping back and taking him in coverage. He knows the little nuances to put himself and his teammates in the best position to have success.
It is so impressive, and with that we have two guys, Alex Anzalone on defense and Jared Goff on offense, that have so much confidence in the system and in themselves to make the proper switches at the line of scrimmage.
Facts.
It is massive for this offense and for this defense, and that's why they are so elite and dominant. I've been blown away, or I was blown away last night with how this defense played. Nobody in the world expected this. And if you did, you're lying.
Yeah.
If you thought that they were going to hold them under 10 points.
Without a touchdown.
Without a touchdown?
That's crazy.
Absolutely insanity. And this gives me so much confidence. And if you look at some of the books nowadays, shout out Caesar Sportsbook, the Lions have moved back to being the Super Bowl favorite. And I want to shout out all of the national media once again for sleeping on the Detroit Lions, picking Minnesota to come into Ford Field and win the game against Dan Campbell's Lions with everything on the line.
Yeah, Mina Kimes, I'm looking at you. Ryan Clark, I'm looking at you. Swagoo, I'm looking at you. You guys, you like the Lions for a while, right? You love Dan Campbell for a while. You're going to pick that bum Sam Darnold to come into Ford Field and beat us? Come on.
Also, shout out Nick Wright. I'm glad the Bears won the NFC North. You, sir, are an absolute loser.